Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, talking about the Titan suit, as well as character customization, armor, clothing, female and male characters, and a summary of Reverse the Verse characters and content. Let's start with the Titan suit, because that's what I want to talk about to start with. The Titan suit is currently in development. It's been reworked somewhat, since it had two size 1 ship weapons for arms and a huge cumbersome turning circle. It hasn't progressed too far past the concept stage. They are keen to get the Titan suit in-game, as it's a missing link for them between infantry, vehicles and ships. It will be something that can make a ship double take and not just roll over an area. So the sort of test cases they have for them are these suits defending a landing pad or structure, for example, being able to make a ship think twice. They also want them to be shock troops on the ground and in buildings. It will have weak spots though, maybe move slower or more restricted than a normal infantry person when inside structures. The downsides and balance are important for these, obviously. The suits will do a lot more than just combat as well. They didn't want to talk about the frame, as they referred to it as, nor could they go into too much detail, unfortunately. Previously, though, they've suggested power loader and cargo lifting type gameplay. The Titan suit is not a mech, though. Mechs have cockpits that you typically sit in. The Titan is a battle suit, more like Iron Man or an exoskeleton or a power loader from Alien. They also said these are a way off, so maybe this isn't a concept we'll see in the November anniversary sale like I thought. Robots. So technically, they can have droids and robots in-game. They're supported. Lore-wise, though, they're not really in-game for humans and the aliens at the moment. Cyborgs are a thing, though. Recco Battaglia is a cyborg. She has a prosthetic arm and leg that are, I think the arm is electrical in some way and mechanical with the leg and all that sort of jazz. She is in 3.3. If they do have robots or droids in the future, they'll effectively be their own species. So maybe in the future we will see an alien race that is robots or droids or whatever. Character damage. So gunshot wounds, scarring, and characters taking damage over time, but also immediately. And sort of like a accumulation of visually simulated damage and scarring, that sort of stuff, they will have. They don't know exactly what form that will take fidelity-wise. That's still in flux. It's going to be communicated to the player in some form, how beat up and battle-scarred they are, visually to other characters, so people can see how grizzled you are. This is also going to be true of recent damage and long-term damage. So getting shot, like then and there, that's going to be visualized. But dying a few times and longer-term wear on your character will also be shown. So it's both those things. Obviously, there will be the mobiGlas and UI to help give you some status info, but the idea is to have damage shown as diegetically as possible as well, and you feel it in your character. Your stamina will be affected, the way you move will be affected. Long-term damage, they talk about vicious scars, amputated and prosthetic limbs, that sort of thing. Wear and tear for armor will be visualized in some way too. They'd like holes, wear, cuts, burns, dirt, and more, but it's going to be whatever is sensible. They're working on a system for layered and armor damage for characters to improve that. At the moment, they have different impacts for materials that are getting shot, but they want to develop this out further with better impacts and potentially layered impacts as well. Clothing and armor. So you won't be able to wear normal clothing over armor. Basically, typically armor goes over the top of clothing. They can, however, have clothing and cloth as part of armor, or cloth and accessories that are connected to armor attachment points. They can have armor with a jacket duster attached if they wanted to, or maybe it has multiple parts to it, so you get a piece of armor or a piece of armor clothing, sort of like hybrid, that is torso and arms as a combo. And they can also have capes as an attachment too if they wanted. There will be special clothes for females and males, but most clothing and all armor and items will have 1-to-1 parity between male and female. So there's no game restriction or stats restriction on what a female or male model can do. All armor in game will be usable for both. They don't know, however, if they're going to go down the route of dresses for female and suits for men. So like unique items in that way, or have entirely different unique items. So there's a dress, and only female characters can wear a dress, and this can't be worn by a man, and we don't have a variant of it for the man. It's something they're still working out. If you own armor or clothing like a t-shirt or whatever, that's going to be usable on both male and female. Dye and coloring. So from the dev customization side, the material variant item that armor currently has allows them to change colors for armors freely. But that's, as I said, a dev side thing. They can create any colors on armors that they want. They're trying to work out how to expose this to the player. They may allow for dyes to be freely used to change colors on armor. So you'd buy a piece of armor, then you could change its color freely. Or they might have different armor, each with different color options. So you could buy each individual item. So blue version of this armor would be its own individual item in a shop. And this is going to come down to a design choice, what method they go for. If players are able to change colours, this could be quite complicated. If it's separate items, then they could also restrict colour choice by armour and manufacturer as well, so that gives them a lot more control. There's going to be a lot of variation whatever method they decide, though. Shorter term, new variants and colours of armour will be available to players as they're added to the game and shops and NPCs. So, character DNA. The character DNA system should allow players to recognise each other's character kind of at a glance. That's one of the big pulls of the game. People look realistic, but also you should be able to discern the differences between people's faces pretty easily and go, oh, that's my friend, and look around and actually start to recognise people. Currently, we have limited customization in-game, but the future will also include head, neck, and profile differences. Body types. So, the male model, they have one type of male model currently, and the female model, they have one type of female model. The actual female model is a different height and shape to the male model as well, but in the future, we should see, and they can do, different body types. But, so that would be fat, thin, super athletic, not so super athletic, chunky, whatever. But height changes are more difficult for them to do, as everything in Star Citizen is built to precise metrics height-wise. So we're much less likely to see customization options when it comes to height to the mid to long term, I suppose. Maybe in the future they'll be able to do something, but they're not planning on that. We will see height variants from different alien races in-game, though. So the Tavaran might be a reasonable bit taller and that sort of stuff. Min-maxing and cover issues were a genuine concern for them if they did allow height variation in player customization as well. So that's one of the things they want to avoid. Beards and hair. You're going to be able to switch styles of hair and beards and facial hair and stuff in-game. They did talk about grooming and hair care, but it's very less than likely that they'll support super granular hair changes and real-time growth of hair and beards and stuff. Even though Chris Roberts has been watching Red Dead Redemption 2 videos and he does like the tech. But the sky is the limit for them when it comes to a lot of the stuff they're developing over a longer period of time. But they look at things and say, is it worth the time and effort for such small improvements? And this sort of stuff, that's unlikely. The hair tech they want in game for characters, though, is cutting edge. They use splines and stuff to actually draw hairs. They might have to scale some of this back for performance, though. The hairstyles in-game that we have now will evolve, and we'll get new ones and changes to the current ones, and the hair will start to look better and better. Human variation. So, other variations of humans living in space and on different worlds over generations might be represented in customization too. So you might see more unique skin tones, textures, slight physical mutations like pointy ears, and that sort of stuff. But with that, they would either need to edit the DNA pool or find a actor or make up an actor with pointy ears. So they've also talked potentially about having restrictions for your character customization based on its starting area. So they could phenotype NPCs and characters based on differences on the subtleties of their gene pool in the area. So you might have different genetics at Hurston than you would on Terra, than you would on Earth. And now, I think this is a great idea for NPCs because you would actually look around and go, oh, that person's probably from Hurston potentially. But maybe it's not such a great idea for the character customizer unless you're doing more of a roleplay-esque character or you want a reason for him to look like an NPC from a particular area, and then maybe just a checkbox and the character customizer for please restrict my character gene pool to Hurston or whatever. I sort of like the idea potentially. Face scanning, people capturing their own faces and using like an app to put it in game. The tech fidelity and quality just isn't up to what they want. They need to do a lot to have people's heads added to the game. They need to scan your head with their gear, and they do that occasionally at events and that sort of stuff, so potentially in the future, people might be able to get their head scanned again. You're going to be able to customize your character, though, to look very similar to you without having your head scanned into the game in most cases. Their DNA system, as it evolves, as they get more and more faces, more and more heads, more and more features, they're going to add a lot more customization to exactly what you can do and build. So you should be able to make someone that looks very similar to you, even without having your face in game. Please tell me what you think of the character customization stuff that they're talking about and the Titan suit. I was really hoping it was going to be something they would sell this year. It sounds like either it's not going to be sold this year on concept sale now, or maybe they're just trying to surprise us. But who knows? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For November, I am giving away a Saber Raven, Star Citizen game package, and a CitizenCon 2948 digital goodies pack. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details below. If you would like to further support the channel, the links to my Patreon and donations are down in the description below as well. If you are considering getting or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or any other game for that matter, instead consider the Shadow Cloud gaming service. It's a subscription-based service that leverages your internet connection to turn any appropriate device, whether it be an old PC, smartphone, tablet, and more, into a powerful Windows 10 gaming PC. It's been working well in the latest 3.3.0 PTU patch of Star Citizen. I'm going to try and maintain a best practices guide on my website as well. More information is available in the links below, and if you do decide to try it, use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.